Great. Welcome to Leader Lifestyle Hub. Who we are? We are nothing but a unique place for digital leaders to enhance every day. Here comes the summary number 17. And we have set a target of completing 200 book summaries in this year, 2023. And the name of the book that we have today is No Rules by Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer. Let us see the small information about the authors. Reed Hastings is the co-founder and the co-CEO of Netflix, as well as a software developer. Erin Meyer is a professor at INSEAD and the author of the Culture Map, in which she shows how to successfully do business across international borders. So what we are going to learn, it's all about Netflix and how to successfully do business across international borders. Let us see the targeted audience. The 56-year-old CEO looking to turn a corner on employee retention and productivity. The 33-year-old manager who wants to discover a new way of leading people. Anyone who is curious about how Netflix works behind the scenes. Let us see the synopsis first. No Rules explains the incredibly unique and efficient company culture of the Netflix, including the amazing level of freedom and responsibility it gives employees, and how this innovative way of running the business is very reason that Netflix is so successful. We will learn how Netflix works in this particular book summary. Let us listen from the author. In a fast and innovative company, ownership of critical big ticket decisions should be dispersed across the workforce at all different levels, not allocated according to hierarchical status. In a fast and innovative company, ownership of critical and big ticket decisions should be dispersed across the workforce at all different levels, not allocated according to the hierarchical status. When Netflix started 20 years ago as a DVD by mail service, means they were sending the DVDs through posts or postal cards. No one could have imagined it would become a streaming service with millions of worldwide subscribers. The company now even produces its own award-winning movies and television shows and is nothing short of a touchstone of modern culture. Netflix created a revolution in the entertainment industry like never before. But to do this, the company had to reinvent itself countless times over the years. Netflix owes its success to unprecedented flexibility and radical management principles that were put in place from the very beginning. Let us see the small review. The ideas are so radical compared to everything we know and believe about business, but that makes so much sense. I think everyone can learn something from this book to help them run a better company than that people actually enjoy working at. That is what we are aiming for. We need to have a better association where people actually enjoy working it. Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, teams up with the business author Erin Meyer to give a fascinating look into the exceptionally successful but unconventional business model of Netflix in this particular book, No Rules, Netflix and the Culture of Reinvention. They reveal the controversial ideologies at the company's center that everyone can learn a thing or two things from them. Let us see the top 3 lessons of this book. Netflix is such a huge success because of its unusual company culture. It does not have any usual general company culture. It has unusual company culture. So that is the reason Netflix has a huge success. The keys to an exceptional company are high talent density. Remember these 3 things. High talent density is required, a lot of honesty, and not many useless policies. 3 things. For an exceptional company, these three things are key ingredients: high talent density, a lot of honesty, and not many useless policies. Keeping a team talent dense is hard work, but it allows you to have dispersed decision making. Instead of taking your own decision, you can have a talent dense decisions. Let's get right into it and binge these lessons. Lesson number one: the reason Netflix was able to excel the way it has is its unique company culture. Remember going to Blockbuster to rent movies. Remember going to Blockbuster to rent movies? In 2000, Reed Hastings met with the CEO of Blockbuster to make him an offer. At the time, Netflix was a small startup, and the Blockbuster was a huge company worth $6 billion and 9,000 stores worldwide. The pitch he and his partner made was for Blockbuster to buy Netflix for $50 million and allow Hastings and his partner to run an online video rental service for Blockbuster. The CEO quickly declined the offer. This turned out to be a huge mistake because, as we know, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy just 10 years later. After all, Netflix dominated the market within these 10 years. So it all started from the failure or rejection from the CEO. How did the small company adapt so much better than the rental giant Blockbuster? It all came down to the culture of Netflix. It's a company that emphasizes people and innovation and is not overly controlling. Remember that a company emphasizing on people and innovation will grow rapidly. This has allowed it to grow at unprecedented rates, and a 2000 survey rated it as the best place in the Silicon Valley to work. In just 20 years, the company has maneuvered through the four huge industry shifts impressively well. It was first a DVD by mail service, then a streaming service, then it moved to license content from other studios, and finally it started producing movies and TV shows of its own. Hastings says this is because at Netflix, his employees are allowed much more freedom than any other companies. This is the powerful lesson that I learned. His employees are allowed much more freedom than any other company. When they are given this freedom, they are inspired to work harder, be more innovative, and make better decisions. So, if you want to create a unique company culture in your future, remember this point: you need to give an employees with much more freedom to enhance their wisdom. Let us see the lesson number two. To have a successful company, have high talent density, a lot of candor, and get rid of dumb policies. But before you just set employees loose, Hastings says that there needs to be planning. There needs to be planning. You need to do three things if you want to have this kind of freedom for employees. First one, have high talent density. It is not required that you have a huge number of employees. It's even if you have 2-3 people who have high talent density, you are good enough. A lot of candor you need, and throw out pointless policies. A company with a smaller group of great talent will always outperform a large one with so-so employees. A company with a smaller group of great talent will always outperform a large one with so-so employees. That's because high performance is contagious. When you have multiple high performers together, they hold themselves to a higher standard and have more fun. When everyone is good at their job, performance spirals upward. So how do you attract and keep employees that they have this kind of zeal? Pay a great salary. It even makes financial sense because hiring one amazing person and paying them a lot will be more worth it than paying many decent workers a normal salary. So if you have lots of decent workers with normal salary, This is one strategy. If you have great talent and giving great salary for them, this is another strategy. Netflix always prioritizes this great salary to the great talent purpose. Netflix also prioritizes what the authors call radical candor. It is perfectly normal for employees to contradict their supervisor in a meeting if they disagree directly. If meeting has happened with the Netflix, and if suppose supervisor launching one idea, it is perfectly normal for employees to share their opinions. Telling people when you disagree with them is not just normal, it is expected. They see it to help the business better, so not speaking up is considered disloyal. However, you cannot just vent frustrations impulsively. Feedback follows 4 rules. Remember these 4 rules for the feedback. Feedback should be given to help. Feedback should be actionable. You should appreciate any feedback you get, and you should think carefully about it. You should accept or not. First one is it should be given to help. It should be actionable, not like theoretical. It should be appreciable. You should appreciate any feedback that you receive, and you should think carefully about it, whether you accept it or not. Lastly, don't be afraid to throw out useless policies. Netflix does not track hours of days people work, and now it does not even have a vacation policy. The authors strongly believe this leads to greater accountability. The reason freedom leads to accountability is simple. It shows them you trust them. So there is no need of having a vacation policy, or there is no need of tracking number of hours people work. These policies throw away. These policies are known as dumb policies. Get rid of them. So have high talent density, a lot of candor, take a feedback, and get rid of dumb policies. Lesson number 3. It can be time consuming to keep a high density of talent, but it allows maximum efficiency. Having a team that has a lot of talent is amazing for a company, but to keep it up, it takes work, hard work. First, you need to be able to fire people who are just okay at their jobs. Netflix sees employees differently than a lot of other companies. Rather than view them as a family that you have for life, regardless of good and bad times, a job at Netflix is something you do only when you are at the best person for the job, and it is the best position for you. So if you want to have a job in Netflix, they will see two things. You are the best person for the job, and it is the best position for you. Then only you will get that job. So instead of viewing employees as a family, Netflix views employees more like a sports team collectively trying to win a title, like a cricket team chasing for a World Cup. Like the same way, Netflix view its employees. It might sound pretty harsh to fire people so easily. Losing a job does impact people hugely. So Netflix takes this into account and offers an impressively generous severance package to make sure people can find a good fit if they are let go. If you can achieve this kind of talent density, it makes management much easier. Netflix does not do what most companies do, where they can either approve or decline employees' ideas. Hastings says this only limits innovation. Instead, the manager allows employees to use their own judgment and determine what they think is best for the company. When employees have the power to do this, senior leadership has much more time for other things. Having a talent dense team helps you to do this because you can trust them to make innovative and smart decisions. This means a more efficient company with no micromanagement necessary. So let us repeat 3 lessons. It have a unique company culture. For exceptional success, have high talent density, a lot of honesty, and get rid of dumb policies. Keep a team talent dense is hard work, but it will help you in decision making. Let us see with the help of mind map how we can move further. Let me open the mind map. This is a different style of understanding the book summary. Let us understand it with the 4 key sections. No rules written by Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer. Let us see the brief information about the author, synopsis, key lessons, and conclusion. Let us see the about the author information. Reed Hastings is the co-founder and co-CEO of Netflix, as well as a software developer. Erin Meyer is a professor at INSEAD and the author of the Culture Map, in which she shows how to successfully do business across the international borders. Let us see the small synopsis, what we can learn. No rules gives us 2 powerful ideas. It sets out the principles of Netflix company culture based on employee freedom and responsibility and optimized for maximum innovation. In doing so, it charts the incredible journey of Netflix, a startup fairy tale. Means it started with a small DVD in mail service. Now it is boomed like anything. What you will get from this book is why rockstar salaries are critical for Netflix success. The reasoning behind Netflix no vacation policy. There is no vacation policy in the Netflix. And you will understand one powerful lesson, how one embracing moment taught Erin Meyer a critical lesson about the CEO rejecting the blockbuster offer. Let us see the key lessons again. Netflix has been successful because of its unique company culture. High talent density encourages employees to perform at their very best. Radical candor helps Netflix employees improve even if it can be difficult to hear. Get rid of useless policies made employees more accountable. Maintaining a talent-dense team requires a lot of intense effort. At talent-dense organizations, dispersed decision-making is most efficient. Means if you are taking any decision, try to approach your team and employees to take valid decision. Let us see the small conclusion, what we can grab from this book. By maximizing talent density, creating a culture of candor, honesty, and leading by context rather than control, Netflix has become one of the fairy tale startup stories of the 21st century. This fosters an environment of freedom and responsibility among employees, which empowers them to make the most creative decisions and perform at the very peak of their capabilities. As you have seen the powerful lessons from this book, no rules. Try to build the high talent dense team and build a lot of candor or honesty and get rid of dumb policies so that you will have a good association or good career or good business along with you. See you in another book summary. Until then,